Hello, my name is Ed Frawley and I own Leerburg with my wife. The video you're going to watch here is a video that I filmed a few years ago at Michael Ellis's school in California. And the video that you're going to watch is one of several hundred videos, over 300, that are in an online course we just produced with Michael Ellis. And it's called Sports Skills, a master class with Michael Ellis. And in the video you're going to watch, you're going to hear Michael talk about aversives. And aversives are different things for different dogs. And he does an excellent job of explaining how to approach it with a specific dog, your specific dog, how you should think about aversives. If you like the information in this course, at the end of these videos, we're going to put the web address on where you can go and look at the description or purchase the course. The course is over 300 videos, and it's 19 hours, 20 hours long, and it's pretty reasonably priced.
Instead of correction, we'll talk about aversives because aversive is something the dog finds unpleasant. So we always need to think about aversives as from the dog's perspective, not ours, right? So as we go forward and we start talking about pressure and training, we're going to look at pinch collars, we're going to look at electric collars, we're going to look at a variety of things like that. And we have a tendency in our brains to kind of assign these things to a kind of aversive hierarchy. Right, I start with a flat collar's like this, a slip lead's like that, a pinch collar's worse, an e-collar's woohoo, way up here, like the worst thing you can do to a dog kind of thing. And we have to keep in mind always it's from the dog's perspective, right? So if a timeout works for your dog, it's because your dog hated it, right? So if I give my dog a timeout once and he stops doing that thing, I pick him up and carry over and stuff him in his crate, it's because it sucked, right? He said, I didn't like that, I don't want that to happen again, right? And some other dog, I might bonk him on top of the head or give him a hard correction with a pinch collar and he might be like, that wasn't so bad. I can go through that again, right? So which one is aversive? It's the dog's perspective, not ours, and we need to keep that in mind as we go forward. There's also an interesting thing, and I just wrote the guy to try to get a copy of the study, but actually Pam Reed, who wrote the book Accelerated Learning, which I recommend everybody get and read, it turned me on to a study that these guys in Mexico did with a bunch of Malinois. So they had 45 Malinois, and they tested cortisol levels in the dog's bloodstream with different aversives, with different aversive techniques, or different techniques of punishment, I should say, right? And cortisol levels are basically is a stress hormone that's released by the body. So they wanted to measure, basically what they're trying to do is measure level of stress in the dog with different punishers, right? And they used prong collar, electric collar, and negative punishment, which is withholding reward from the dog for mistakes. Okay? Fascinatingly enough, the highest cortisol levels were with the pinch collar, and the lowest were with the electric collar. So for a highly motivated dog, like a Malinois, then the withholding reward created more stress in the dog, or a release of more stress hormones, than electric collars did. Fascinating, right? Now, and if you talk to a lot of dog trainers that deal with highly motivated dogs, they go, oh yeah, I could see that. You know, we've seen dogs that will bite you when you withhold reward from them. They get really stressed and really angry and a whole host of other things like that. But it tends to be, obviously that's not going to be the case with a less motivated dog. So if I take a normal dog, your average dog, then probably the electric collar is going to create more stress in that dog than withholding reward. But that's interesting. It's another example for us of, remember, aversive is all from the dog's perspective, not ours. So we're thinking, you didn't get a cookie. And the dog's like, God damn it, I didn't get a cookie, right? And they're really stressed about it. And so it's a fascinating part of that. And the electric collar, for us, we wind up using them a fair bit these days in our training, especially when you get to advanced training. There's a lot of interesting things you can do with an electric collar that are very difficult to do traditionally, timing-wise, distance-wise, and that sort of thing. And I've noticed over the years, something that's fascinating, and we tend to think about the electric collar as the bigger stick in the aversive hierarchy. But we've had lots and lots of luck with extremely sensitive dogs in the electric collar. Actually, dogs that are more sensitive do better with the electric collar than they do with almost any other form of punishment, right? So I have a woman that has been to a few seminars that does AKC obedience with a golden retriever, and she was having duration focus problems with the dog. The dog knew everything, the dog was doing really well in the ring, but would check out on her for periods, and she just couldn't manipulate it with reinforcement schedules. And so when she tried to correct the dog just melted, right? So like a golden retriever, it'd grovel, it'd pee, it'd flip on its back, with very little physical input from her. But the electric collar and little low-level nicks for looking away, perfect. The dog got it beautifully. It's her best scores ever, no problem, and no stress from the dog. The dog doesn't seem to mind at all, right? And that's that idea that we tend to think of, ooh, electric, bad, right? No, it's not that bad, right? But to that dog, that's much worse. Like, they're worried. There's a pack drive related thing where the dog is much more socially affiliative, and anything that seems like it's coming from the handler makes the dog worried that mom's mad at me, kind of thing. So it's an interesting thing. So when we start talking about escape avoidance training, again, remember that it's the dog's perspective always.